11 digits, one number. Every Nigerian bank account, every fintech wallet, every mutual fund subscription, every treasury bill purchase runs through it. It is called the BVN, the Bank Verification Number. And on May 1st, 2026, the rules around it quietly changed. 17 days ago, the Central Bank of Nigeria switched on a new regulation. It affects every account holder. It affects every diaspora investor. It affects every Nigerian abroad who has ever opened a bank app and watched it freeze. Most of us have not noticed yet. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what changed, why it changed, and what it means for our access to Nigerian money in 2026. That is the open loop. Let us walk through it. Before 2014, Nigerian banking had a problem nobody talked about openly. The same person could open 10 accounts at 10 different banks under slightly different name spellings. Adiola, Adiola, Adola. Each one separate, each one untraceable to the others. For honest customers, this was a nuisance. For fraud rings, it was an open door. The Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, the monetary authority that sets banking rules for the country, looked at the numbers in 2013 and decided enough was enough. Fraud losses were climbing. The banking system had no way to confirm a customer was who they claimed to be across institutions. So in February 2014, the CBN launched the BVN. Their build partner was NIBSS, the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, the institution that runs the payment rails between every Nigerian bank. The idea was simple. Every Nigerian who walks into a bank gets fingerprinted, photographed, and assigned one number. That number stays with them for life. Every account they ever open at any bank in Nigeria links back to it. For those of us who left Nigeria before 2014, this is the wall we hit when we try to invest back home. Our pre-existing accounts were grandfathered in, sort of. Our ability to open new ones or unlock dormant ones depends entirely on whether we ever made it home to capture our biometrics. Most of us did not. That is the Diaspora BVN problem in one sentence. So how does the BVN actually work? And what happens behind the scenes when you tap your phone and a Nigerian bank app says verified? Here is the mechanic. When a Nigerian opens an account at any bank, the bank captures a set of biometric data points, fingerprints from all 10 fingers, a face photograph, signature, date of birth, place of birth. That applies at every institution. GTBank, Zenith, UBA, Access, First Bank, and Stanbic IBTC, which is one of Nigeria's biggest brokers and pension fund administrators, originally a banking subsidiary of South Africa's Standard Bank. All of that biometric data goes into the central BVN database. NIBSS operates the database on behalf of every Nigerian bank. In return, the customer gets one 11-digit number. That number is the customer's banking identity for life. Open a new account at any other Nigerian bank later, even 15 years later, even at a fintech like Kuda or PalmPay. The new institution does not recapture your biometrics. It asks for your BVN instead. It pings the central database. The database returns a match. The account opens. This is why Nigerian banking apps can verify a customer across institutions in seconds. The BVN is the lookup key. It is the spine holding the whole system upright. This channel is not financial advice. It documents diaspora Nigerian research into investing back home. What works, what does not, where the friction is, education shared openly. Now, Chair, what changed on May 1st, 2026? The NIBSS regulations that took effect 3 weeks ago tie your BVN more tightly to your registered phone number than ever before. Under the new rules, the mobile number on file with your bank must match the mobile number tied to your BVN. Both must be verifiable through the National Communications Commission's registry. If they do not match, the bank is required to restrict the account until you reconcile them. That is not a soft warning. That is a freeze trigger. For Nigerians at home, this is a paperwork annoyance. For those of us abroad, it is a real problem. Why? Most diaspora Nigerians who left before 2014 never updated the phone number tied to our BVN. Many of us do not have a BVN at all. Others updated it once years ago to a Nigerian SIM we no longer carry. Our actual working number is a foreign one. Our BVN, if it exists, says otherwise. And the bank's compliance system, as of May 1st, treats that mismatch as a reason to lock the account. If this is making the last decade of Nigerian banking infrastructure make more sense, hit subscribe. There's a video like this every week, built specifically for those of us doing this from outside Nigeria. So what is the actual fix? The official path involves walking into a Nigerian bank branch in person. You present valid ID, you submit a BVN modification request. Processing time runs between 2 weeks and 3 months. For those of us abroad, walking into a branch means flying home. There's a second path that is opening up. Some Nigerian banks have begun rolling out diaspora-specific onboarding portals. Access Bank, GTBank, and Stanbic IBTC are among them. The portals handle BVN updates remotely, using video verification and partner agents in major diaspora hubs. The processes are uneven. The documentation requirements vary. The success rate depends on which bank, which day, and which compliance officer reviews your file. But the option exists now in a way it did not in 2023. The third path is the one most diaspora investors actually use. On board through a Nigerian relative who can physically attend the branch with a notarized power of attorney. The relative captures the biometrics on your behalf. The BVN issues in your name, the account open, it is messy, it works. What none of these parts do is make the BVN itself optional. The BVN is the price of admission to the Nigerian financial system. In 2026, you cannot buy a Nigerian stock without one. You cannot subscribe to a Nigerian mutual fund. You cannot hold an FGN bond, that is a federal government of Nigeria bond, the equivalent of a US Treasury for Nigeria. You cannot even open a Nigerian Naira wallet on most fintech apps. The BVN is not optional. The question is only how much friction you are willing to absorb to get it sorted. If this is making sense, hit the like button. It helps more Nigerians abroad find this. And if you are not subscribed yet, hit subscribe. Next video. Opening a Nigerian investment account from London, step by step. That one is coming very soon. Subscribe so you do not miss it. So what does the May 2026 BVN reform actually mean for us, the Nigerians abroad trying to put hard currency money to work back home? 3 things. First, if you have a Nigerian bank account that has been dormant for more than 6 months, assume it will be restricted until you reconcile the phone number on file. Do not wait for the freeze. Call the bank's Diaspora line. Most of the big four now have one. Confirm the mobile number tied to your BVN matches, the one tied to your account. If they do not match, start the reconciliation now, not when you need to move money. Second, if you earn in CAD, USD, GBP, or euros, and you have been postponing the BVN process, the calculus changed 3 weeks ago. The phone number tightening is the first of several scheduled compliance updates to 2026. The longer you wait, the more reconciliation paperwork piles up. Our exposure to Naira deposits matters less than what we do with hard currency. And what we do with hard currency in Nigeria starts with a working BVN. Third, and this is the practical operator's read, the new Diaspora onboarding portals are imperfect but real. Access Bank's portal currently has the shortest processing time among the big institutions. Stanbic IBTC's is the most thorough in documentation requirements, but produces the cleanest end state. GTBank's is the most familiar interface for those of us who held accounts before relocating abroad. The friction is real. The Naira to dollar math is real too. A 30% return in Naira terms can collapse to 10% or less in dollar terms when the currency moves against the dollar. That is before the time cost of resolving a frozen BVN. Any diaspora investing decision in 2026 has to price the BVN reconciliation cost upfront. Not at the moment you actually tried to move money. What banks like UBA, GTBank, and Access have built over the last 3 years, they built it for us partly. The diaspora portals are not charity. They are a response to a measurable opportunity. Hard currency remittance flows into Nigeria reached an estimated $20 billion in 2024 by World Bank tracking. The institutions that can capture that flow into investment products rather than just one-off transfers win. That is why the BVN reform matters this month. The infrastructure to use it from abroad is finally catching up to the requirement to have one. 11 digits, one number. The BVN is what stands between most of us in the diaspora and a working Nigerian portfolio. The phone number reconciliation rule that took effect on May 1st, 2026 is not the last change coming this year. It is the first. The next set of NIBSS updates is scheduled for the second half of 2026. They tighten the link between BVN and IN, the National Identification Number, and every financial account that depends on both. For those of us abroad, the lesson is the same as it has always been with Nigerian financial infrastructure. The work is done quietly in advance, before the moment you need the account to function. The viewers who get their BVN reconciled in May 2026 are the ones moving money smoothly in November. The ones who wait will spend the second half of the year on hold with bank compliance lines. 11 digits, that is the access key. Sort it now. Drop a comment. Where are you watching from? Canada, UK, US. Let me know I am not alone in this, and subscribe.